Do you ever feel, well, lonely? Loneliness is one of the lead producers of depression and could very well increase in severity as AI develops. Her is a film made back in 2013, and according to many people, they feel that it is a very scary close representation of our world today and what may come in the future years. The movie is about a character named Theodore and his story of struggling with his divorce from his wife. To compensate for his loss that he can't seem to face, he enters a relationship with an AI operating system. Although we don't get a set date of when Her takes place, we can see that it definitely takes in the future, as AI wasn't as prominent back in 2013 as compared to how it is in the film. Although AI hasn't gotten to the point where it is in the film today, there's a high likelihood that it could in the future. So let's look at what the problems will come from such AI advancements, more specifically how it will affect people's relationships and make people struggle more with being lonely, and then look at how we can avoid such inevitable isolation. I think the best starting point here is to validate that Her could become a reality. Yes, I am aware there aren't any robots looking for a romantic relationship right now, or at least any that I know of, but it isn't the wildest claim in the world that there very well could be a personal AI assistant for anything and everything we do. Whether that's an employee, a butler, or even a romantic partner. I mean, even looking back a year ago, most people wouldn't believe that we have an AI system that can write essays, pass the bar exam, or even of course write a whole YouTube video script. Disclaimer, this video was written by me, not an AI, I swear. But anyways, moving on. AI and even technology in general continue to get better and better every day, so it may not be long before people start getting married to robots or AI systems. But what is the big issue with that? As we saw, it made Theodore more happy in the film, and with the world shifting to a more do whatever makes you happy mindset, this would just go along with that. Let's look at the danger. I think the easiest thing to cover is how AI will disconnect people from reality. As we are already seeing today, more and more people have their faces stuck in their phones. I believe AI will do the same thing. Looking at the movie Her, there are so many scenes with people glued to their phones. I think anything with an addictive nature would do the same, especially an AI system that is designed to only make us happy. We see Theodore not only expect unrealistic expectations, but an overwhelming dependence on his AI. We see him almost have a straight panic attack over having the thought of losing Her. Honestly, that is the same reaction that would be expected for someone who has lost a loved one, and I mean an actual person, not an AI system. This kind of deep, emotional, non-replicable, and perfect relationship is scary and will further lead to deeper emotional loneliness. When a person becomes so dependent on something and it is taken from them, it can make them lose their mind. AI being a work in progress every day makes it incredibly unreliable, and with the combination for it to have the potential to be so perfect could lead to devastating effects. Let alone that, well, having an AI system that is perfect, knows how to handle you, makes it so you don't actually need human friendships or romantic relationships. This alone will bring you away from people. All of this is scary to me, but I think the worst of all is the film Her is almost promoting that the event should be viewed in a positive light. Many people do view it in this way, but I view it in the exact opposite way, with quotes like, "I've never loved anyone the way I loved you," and the AI of course responding, "Me too, now we know how to." Her could come off as an aspect of therapy. I think the argument for Her being a positive story, or at least the positive side, is that it helps Theodore. I would argue the opposite, however. The biggest argument for the AI system helping Theodore would be the letter he wrote to his ex-wife explaining how he finally realizes that it was his fault for everything that went wrong in their relationship, how he expected too much from her, and how he wasn't present as much as he should have been. My dispute for this argument would be that Theodore didn't write this apology, but it was Samantha, the AI system. But before you go down and spam comments about how at this point in the film Samantha was gone, let me explain. To this point, Theodore has never lived for himself. Since his problem marriage, all he did was sulk and move into an artificial relationship. He never worked on himself. Even the works of his poems were submitted to the publishing company because of Samantha. The lack of personal growth and sulking prove he hasn't bettered himself, and he as a whole hasn't bettered as a person, meaning that the overall growth we see in his character in the end writing that message to Catherine was through the works of Samantha, not Theodore. So now what you might be saying is that, well, Samantha bettered him to the point to write that message, and I would be admitting that the AI is helpful and not dangerous. The problem to that is, once again, we never see Theodore get get better. We may think and maybe want to believe that he is, but in the end of the film, we see him go back to his friend Amy right away, who at this point in time is just a friend, but we can infer that there's a romantic relationship brewing through her laying her head on his shoulder, them both losing their AIs, and most importantly, she is wearing red, which in this film signifies love. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, this begins with Theodore wearing red at work where he writes love letters, and his and Catherine's first couch being red where their love is the highest. Those are just a few examples though. This would then of course argue against the whole argument of this video, how AI will create loneliness, because then technically the AI helped bring two people together, right? But this will come full circle. Again, it is almost a guarantee that Theodore and Sam will enter a relationship after the film, but what is going to happen when their perfect expectations aren't met anymore? The AIs were designed for pleasure, not authenticity. It won't feel as good as it did before, and once again will probably lead to divorce, leading into that inevitability of loneliness. Overall, the major takeaway to all these points is that it's easier to find comfort in the presence of what you may think is love, and it is easier to sulk when you don't have those feelings of love. And the widespread access of future AI will make it easier to do both. But what is more important is to face your uncomfortable feelings to help yourself grow into a better person. That growth will make it easier to love someone again, and be able to be the best partner you can be. Again, we covered how we may not be that far away from AI relationships. And again, this movie didn't only just portray loneliness and the fact of Theodore needing a relationship to feel whole, and when he doesn't have one, he's lost, but as a whole, and probably more relatable of how AI and technology is pulling us away from reality and what matters. I think the way to combat this rise in AI is to remember the people around us, and how these real and impactful relationships are what truly matters, and make us better people. Or maybe AI relationships are good and great, and I'm just mad because I don't have her. If you want to check out another video of mine, watch this video of why you must sacrifice to accomplish your goals being portrayed through Whiplash.